everyone, welcome back. FUBAR here, and today's video we're going to be doing a base defense in-depth guide, and it's based off the two new officers coming in patch 9.2. So as you can see right here, I was actually trying to get some combat footage of base defense for you guys, but I've been waiting about 6 hours, and these guys decided to go turtle on me and hide in their shells. So, without further ado, we're just going to jump right onto the video. So, the two new officers we're going to talk about today is Stinger Fist and Uncle. I'm just going to leave it at Uncle because the rest of the name is in Russian and I will butcher it. So, I'm not going to disrespect our Russian brothers and sisters in the audience. I'll let them correct me. Okay? So in the recent updates, walls have gotten a big adjustment. Now we got damage coming to the watchtower, the AA firebase as well, and also it scales up with the firepower. So let's go in and check it out. Also note in Silver 1, walls actually get counted up to level 100. So that's super useful. It used to be 150. So let's go down. Now we're going to go to level 200 because that's when the damage stops. Okay, but the fire power does scale for the watchtower and the AA fire base after. Okay, here we are, right in the middle of the screen. So right here, as you can see, we have 24% base damage resist. If you multiply that by 4, it's roughly 92%. Okay? Now, if we go over right here at level 200, we get 12% damage for the watchtower and AA firebase. So that is pretty big deal for us, especially free-to-play players, because that means a 48% damage increase for both the AA firebase and the watchtower. And as I said before, as you can see, the firepower actually scales as we go up, as you can see, which is awesome. My walls are nowhere near there. My highest wall is level 30, so I got a long ways to go. Now, the next thing you might want to consider, and this is why I am doing it, I'm going to break it down right here, is under your research, especially your advanced combat. You see right here that hollow points gives you troop and base damage, and while combat engineers gives you troop and base damage resist. Every single category, infantry, tank, artillery, with the exception of plane, has both of these skills in it. Now, the reason why I say the exception of plane is because plane actually provides you with double the amount. Yes, 20% at max. So as you can see right here, you get one right here, right? And you get another one at the very end. And it kind of mimics in the modern war tech as well. So between those two techs, you can get, well, just advanced. We're gonna just use advanced. That's 50%. Now, if you complete all modern war tech, then that's probably another 50%, and that is a very significant amount. We haven't even added up camp buff yet. Now, if I were to do the 5-3 like I want to, that would be a 19%. So that means right here, I'm at 92, then plus the camp buff, that's 102, 111, and then plus that, just advanced combat tech, I'm at 161% base damage and damage resist. And that's a pretty significant deal. And that's not even before we start counting modern war tech or the basic city defense buffs or even advanced city defense buffs, which I do not fully know about because I have not had access to that yet on this account. So, we're going to get into the two new officers. We have Stinger Fist right here, and here is his skills. Stinger Fist is super overpowered, and I highly recommend him for every single player and every single base. This should be literally one of your first officers you should awaken if you're a newer player. He has the highest damage coefficient for the free to play officer. And it is increased when he is garrisoned by 25%. He also offers a 5% base damage resist skill as well. And he is really just potent all the way around. When you awaken him, he also gets an AoE attack. And AoE is king in base defense. So, the next officer is Uncle. Uncle it is a tank defense officer, and he does an 1800 coefficient for shield, kind of similar to Everbloom, but he also gives a damage resist buff on his tactical skill. And his second skill, I feel, provides a lot of value if you're not going to awaken him, because it reduces the amount of damage your base receives from normal attacks. So if you have him in garrison in base and you share his skill, that's now 20%. And also Thorn Countess already gives you 10%, so that's 30%. That's a big difference right there when you start looking at that. But the biggest kicker with Uncle is actually his awakened skill. Steel Fighter gives you 30%. Sorry. Steel Fighter gives you 30% officer skill damage reduction to the base. So that means that every time an officer skill gets shot at your base, it has 30% less damage. Now, Uncle's skill gives you an additional 40% damage reduction to officer skills. That is huge. That means a 70% reduction in damage from officer skills. That is crazy. That is crazy good and crazy effective. Now, while I have you guys in the officer tab menu, we're actually going to go through and we're going to start talking about officers I feel you need. And I say this, need, for a very strong and effective base defense. So we already know about Stinger Fist and we already know about Uncle. I highly recommend both of those. But here's the next ones. We got Golden Eagle. He is the perfect versatile officer. He is good on any unit with any other officer, and he is good for base defense because he gives a base damage resist of 10%, and you can share it and get 20%. Now, we got Thorn Countess and Steel Fighter. Together, these guys make an awesome base shield. Now, Thorn Countess is the one that provides the base shield, and Steel Fighter we use to enhance the base shield. Keep in mind, when you're going to set this up, you want Thorn Countess as the lead officer, Steel Fighter as the aide. I did some testing a little bit earlier, about a week ago, and it's still up on the channel. It's in a short. Go check it out. But to increase the base shield, you're also going to want to stack HP for that to go higher. Now, the next officer I actually recommend for you to have in base, which is going to be a little bit weird, is going to be Tip of Spear. Tip of Spear, we do not want any of his other skills other than his awakened. Yes, his tactical skill is pretty nice for buffing all the troops in base, but we want the tail end of his awakened skill. This skill also reduces the prep time of their troops' skills by 1.5 seconds. The reason why we want that is because we're going to pair him with Vox. Vox, when her tactical skill is all the way up to level 5, you are going to have a base damage resist of 30% for 8 seconds. So we constantly want this up and running, so that way we can so that way it's never going to go down. And now if you think about that, right, that's 30%, okay? And we were already at 161. Now we're at 191 plus Stinger Fist, that's 196. Then if we do double, like we share the skill of Golden Eagle, now that's 20. Now we're at 216% base damage resist. Kind of crazy. And I'll also note that at the tail end of her awakened skill, reduces the prep time for garrisoned officers' skills by zero point 0.5 seconds. So that is a huge deal as well, because now your officer skills are going to be firing off a lot. The next officer I'm going to recommend is Argent Flame. Great officer. He does great damage while inside base. He's good on the ATG. He's good on the howitzer. He's good on an RL. A lot of people use him in the field. He's just great all the way around. But the major thing that makes him so great is that he has to be in the leader position, but he buffs his aid by 25%. And I'm going to actually pair this guy with Stinger Fist. 1800 plus 25%, that's a huge jump in the damage coefficient. Huge jump in damage overall. But the cool thing about Argent Flame is, like Stinger Fist, he has an AoE attack as well. So, like I said before, AoE is king. We're going to aim towards the AoE effects. So the next officer I'm going to recommend for base defense is Maestro. Maestro is ideal for the ATG. He does good damage. He has a very good debuffing skill similar to Valkyrie, except for his spreads based on the targets around the unit he's attacking. So what he'll do is he'll hit the target, stain it, and then it'll spread over and over and over again, and it will do this fire tick damage. That's pretty damn phenomenal. And the reason why we want him is because we're going to want to pair him with Red Heat. Now, I know Red Heat is not a free-to-play officer. She's an exclusive. And we all as free-to-play and light spenders, yes, we have to do a year's grind to get one of these officers awakened. But let me tell you, if you want a strong base defense, this is the officer you want with Maestro. So that is going to be my goal once I finish Saber of the Nation. Now, I'll show you, I'm really close with Saber of the Nation. I only got like I think 107 statues left. Yep. Yep, I got 107 statues left on Saber of the Nation before I start Red Heat. Now, because of this, I want to show you on my layout where I'm going to set up these officers, so that way there's no confusion. Okay. Now, I primarily play as a field fighting support base defense player. My goal is to be the anchor for my team. So if I have to block a build or I have to repair a build, I can do that. But I can also change up one unit and send it off to go field fight if I have to and come back. But with these two new officers, that makes it a little bit more difficult, but not too much. And when I am on anchor duty, I will support with my Air Force. So, without further ado, the officer pairing setups. So, Tip of Spear and Vox are going to be right on my infantry. Now, as you can see, I already got Thorn and Steel Fighter on my MBT, and that's where they're going to stay. Okay. Uncle is going to be going up onto my heli, and I'm going to be replacing Guardian of Truth with him. Now, when I'm not on base defense mode or anchor mode, as I like to call it, I will switch that out to an offensive officer so that way I can go to town out in the field. Now, my howitzer, which is soon going to become a Liberty howitzer, is going to have Argent Flame and Stinger Fist. Now, on my ATG, you probably guessed it, it's going to be Maestro and Golden Eagle. The reason why I want Golden Eagle there is because before I have Red Heat, I need something there. Now, once I have Red Heat there, I'm going to substitute out actually Valkyrie and put Golden Eagle there. And just like before, if I have to go onto the offense and I'm out of the danger zone and not needing to be in defense, then I can switch officers out for offensive stats. Now, that's just my play style. Why don't you guys tell me your play styles down below? What do you guys think of this? What do you think of those statistics and those numbers? All right. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and share it with a friend. All right. I have two amazing Discords going. I have Warpath Lounge. I also have FUBAR's Lounge. Now, if you want to join either one of these, I recommend FUBAR's Lounge. The reason why I recommend FUBAR's Lounge is because it's just a tight knit community of everyone just wanting to get together and talk about the game. It's an entirely safe place. No fighting, no sexual harassment, no nothing of the sort, no racism, no nothing. Nothing is discriminatory. We're all there to help each other. We got players of all different sizes and growths in the game. There, everyone is welcome. Do not be shy. And you can also communicate with me directly there. All right. So, like I said, if you enjoyed the video, please like, comment, and subscribe. This is FUBAR. I got your six. Peace.